with you.
No, but what we should say is that what he did was he basically went undercover with the mafia and worked with them and did jobs with them and stuff. And it's a brilliant book. And there's a movie you can get on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a fictionalized semi-documentary, but it's very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I will say for any mafia members who might be here that the mafia in my book is a part of it, but not a huge part. You know, my stories are more fun, action adventure, like Indiana Jones or Clive Cussler or, you know, things like that, where it's not quite as serious. I don't know how serious your books are, so yeah, yours probably go more towards the other end. Mine are just good fun action adventure, exploring some ancient mysteries. You know, I feature Archimedes, who is from Sicily, the city of Syracuse, which was a Greek state when he was there, and actually under siege by the Romans during his time. And he helped the king fight off the Romans for 2 years, by constructing these fantastical siege weapons.
Oh, really?
To defend the city. So one of his most famous ones is the Archimedes death ray, which Mythbusters has actually tried to replicate a few times without success. So, but his genius is so well known that they keep trying to see if it worked, because they think he might have actually created something that would basically fire a beam of light and set the Roman ships on fire, but they don't know how he did it. It's all apocryphal, but we know that, you know, he's one of the greatest minds of antiquity and one of the first engineers. And another artifact I include in the book is called the Antikythera mechanism, which is a real device that was found in a shipwreck off of Greece in 1900. And for about 40 years, it was kind of ignored in that Greek National Archaeological Museum until some archaeologists started studying it and found that this device had gearing in it, like you would find in a clock. The only thing was that it was found in a shipwreck that was 2,200 years old, and these kinds of gears weren't thought to have existed until about 1500. And so this was something that was unprecedented and could be the world's first computer. The problem is it wasn't found intact, so nobody really knows what it does or how exactly it works, and so they don't know what its purpose was. So in my book, I reveal what the actual purpose of the Antikythera mechanism was, and some archaeologists do think that Archimedes could have designed it. So I attribute it to him, of course, as he deserves. But you know, so I include the Camorra and these ancient mechanisms, and so it's just meant to be fun. Now I've heard that I heard about your TNT movie. Is it a movie or a pilot for a TV show?
Well, it's both.
Both.
It's both. TNT. I didn't say this right. TNT is going to be doing a mystery cycle, a wheel they call it, Tuesday night mysteries, and it will premiere in the fall. And so they're doing separate 2 hours, you know, some based on books, mostly so far, but they may pick up some originals too. And the idea was to find an excuse, a reason to do 2-hour movies, because, as you know, they're not made anymore. So the sort of ruse was, let's do mysteries, but let's consider they might become a series later. So, you know, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
Now, the real question is, have they finished casting it? Because I am available.
I know you are there. I know you are there. Well, this just happened last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's news.
We just got the green light.
Wow,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
do you know when you're going to start filming?
Yeah, we're going to start filming in September.
So you need to cast really fast.
We do.
How do you go through that process of casting? And do you do that? Do you hire a casting director and say what kind of the person you see in those roles? I mean, how does that work?
Well, we are hiring a casting director right now, and as an executive producer, I will be in the room, you know, with the actors. Of course, the ones now it's all done on tape, you know, and video. But yes, it's kind of a group process of, I have a producing partner who's very experienced, Frank von Zernick. And when we hire a director, then we'll all have, and the network, of course, we'll all have input into these roles. I'm sort of in a very weird position, being the author of the books and having carried these characters with me for all these years. And then I have to detach from that and say, but it's now a different animal. Now it's a TV movie, and I can't project, specifically what I had in mind, just to try to get the qualities, at least, of these characters. But I'm really trusting that TNT, the people are really good there, and I'm just trusting that it will become, the parts will be greater than the whole, with everybody's input and points of view, that will have something even more exciting.
Are you writing the script?
Yeah, I did. I wrote the script.
So that must be hard, getting a 400-page book down to a 2-hour TV movie, because
Yeah.
that's with commercials, it's more like 140 minutes or something.
That's right. Well, we had to cut the whole book, half the story out.
Wow.
Of the book.
Was that hard for you? Were you?
No, I agree. No.
No?
There's no way to do it.
Yeah.
So we just went with the A story, which is
Okay.
of a 15-year-old girl who's abducted from the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica by a serial sexual predator. And that's the A story, and that's what she's, as the FBI, it's a kidnapping, so it's their jurisdiction. That's the main story. But of course, it also establishes all the characters in the FBI around Anna Gray that potentially could be a weekly series.
Right.
But we'll see.
Well, good luck.
Tune in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Thank you. Should we open this up?
Sure.
Anybody have questions?
I have a question. April, I was wondering, as you were doing your research, especially being in Italy, did you find that there was a pushback about the questions you were asking? Did you find that people were resistant about talking about this, or were people eager to share their experiences?
Well, since I was in Siena and not Naples, they were a little more open about it. And I did interview the commissario there. He's the chief of the provincial police. And our son, the reason this all came about is that our son Benjamin was studying in Siena. It was his junior year of college. So he was fluent in Italian, luckily. So he would come with me on these interviews, and he translated, what the guy was saying. And he was circumspect. He was circumspect about the problem. He was more interested in talking about terrorism, actually, than the mafia. But our son had Italian friends from Naples, and he did go down there. And from his report, people don't want to talk about it there. I don't know what your experience was, but
I didn't even try to talk about it.
No, they don't. It's like you don't want to say the words out loud. Mm-hmm. You really, really don't. But I also interviewed the FBI legat. They're called they're like the legal attaché. They're the liaison between the FBI and the local Italian police. And I interviewed the FBI guy in Rome. He was a lot more forthcoming about the situation and absolutely, laid it down the way it is in terms of the mafia and in terms of the way the FBI works with the Italians. But he was very complimentary about the Italians and their forensic abilities and stuff. There was no condescension or anything. He thought they were very good partners.
I think it depends.